Hey guys, for those of you that don't know me, which is probably all of you guys, but my name's Tyler, and I'm just sitting here. It's 11 o'clock at night, just thinking like the healthcare system, the government, it's all backwards. I do research in inflammatory bowel disease, and what we do all day is we're figuring out how to manage patient symptoms. How can we develop more drugs, more medications for these people to manage their disease? And nobody's trying to figure out like what can we do to better prevent this from happening, prevent these diseases from happening. And this isn't just in gastroenterology, which is where I do research. It's like other fields: cardiology, dermatology, pediatric medicine for kids. It's like the only thing we're all trying to figure out is what medications can we use, what ointments can we use to treat this symptom, to treat, okay, this person has this disease, what can we use to treat that? And it's like there's so many ways we can prevent these diseases from even happening, by like promoting health. But then again, I think like, why would they do that, right? Like, why would the government, why would the FDA, why would the pharmaceutical companies, why would they try to promote health? Because then they're going to lose a lot of money. They're going to lose so much money by not having to, treat people later on in life when they actually get these diseases. But it's just so twisted. And I do my own research. I kind of look into ways to reduce, you can't, there's the genetic factor, of course, but there's a lot of supplements and vitamins on the market. There's so many things on the market that actually work, scientific evidence that works. And then I think to myself, like, why is the FDA not making people aware of this? Why are doctors not making people aware of this? Why are these pharmaceutical companies not making people aware of this? And again, it goes back to the whole point of like, you make more money by treating people. You make more money by giving them drugs and waiting for them to actually have a disease instead of giving them things when they're not sick to prevent those sicknesses, because there's no money in that. And so I really think that how our society is right now, it's really just flipped. Like, people are getting sicker. Like, for example, in inflammatory bowel disease, there's more people getting diagnosed each year, and they're getting younger. The age of diagnosis is getting younger. There's people in their 20s getting diagnosed with inflammatory bowel disease, which is unheard of. Like, that is not normal. And there's several reasons for that, from what I've read online. There's several different reasons for that, but a huge contributing factor is that we're not getting enough supplements and necessary vitamins in our diet. And not even a healthy diet is good enough to supply you those nutrients and those vitamins. And that's just a product of how society has become industrialized. Food is being mass produced. Produce, animal products are all being mass produced, and there's a consequence to that. And the consequence is major. And that consequence is a lack of nutrients in the food. You have to, if you're going to increase quantity, you got to decrease quality. There's a law there. If you want to increase quality, quantity has to go down. And so with those fluctuations in quality, honestly, unfortunately, right now it's mainly just quality that's decreasing with our food, and that is showing up as deficiencies in people. And those deficiencies can lead to people getting their disease, getting a disease. It can serve as a trigger. Like, for example, there's people with Crohn's disease, and they could be 50 years old, and then they randomly get diagnosed with Crohn's disease. There's no reason for the diagnosis, but it could have just been an environmental trigger. But vitamin deficiency can definitely be a trigger for that. And imagine if that person maybe knew that they were deficient earlier in life, and then they addressed the deficiency, and then maybe they wouldn't have gotten the disease. Who knows? And so, and I'm not saying that we don't need doctors and we don't need medications, because that's just not the case. There are people that get the diseases, and we need the doctors to be there to diagnose them and treat them with the drugs that they need and manage the disease. But our society is kind of twisted right now, in the sense that we have those doctors that are able to treat those patients that get diagnosed with the disease, and then giving them the medication. but we don't have specialists that are, trying to prevent these diseases from happening at a younger age. Um, we just wait for the person to get diagnosed. They come into the clinic, and there you go. Well, you have this, and here's your round of whatever you need. So it's super bad. And the thing is too is in society right now, we do have people that are trying to help and educate other people on how to prevent diseases, supplementing this and taking these vitamins and eating this diet, or taking these things. But a lot of that information has no scientific basis. A lot of that information might actually be more harmful than good. And so that's super dangerous. One example of that is the colonic hydrotherapy. I know I'm being a little bit biased towards inflammatory bowel disease and gastroenterology. That's just because where I do research. But colonic hydrotherapy involves flushing out the colon with a lot of water, and that water actually can have additives and stuff in them. But besides the point, that water actually can increase intestinal pressure, and that can lead to tears in the colon wall. And also that significant amount of water is actually flushing out and washing away your healthy mucosal layer in your colon, and that can actually disrupt the healthy gut microbiome. That can be a trigger. If somebody is susceptible to say Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, them doing that treatment, that might trigger them to get their disease earlier in life than they were supposed to, or maybe they weren't ever supposed to. And so I'm not even telling you, to listen to me. I don't know everything either. This is just something I'm noticing in society, where we're not helping people, prevent them from getting this disease, by, doing lifestyle modifications, or prescribing them this thing, or telling them to take these vitamins and supplements. And I think that's really awful. I got two examples actually for you where, the FDA wants us to stay sick. The pharmaceutical industries want us to stay sick. The first thing is something called NMN, and it's a NAD plus precursor. And so there's several studies showing that this precursor, this NMN, is actually it's one of the best things for anti-aging. It was on the market as an over-the-counter supplement that you can take, and there's several studies showing that it's very effective in reducing the negative effects of aging. But I think it was in 2022, the FDA tried to take it off the market because there was a pharmaceutical company that was trying to develop it as a actual treatment, for people that actually have disease. And so that would prevent people from using it before getting disease, which the study was showing that it could prevent diseases from happening. There you go, money-making business. It's a capitalist world, where the big pharmas are trying to make the money, and that's the best way they can do it, is by waiting till people get sick. So anyways, that was my rant. I'm going to start making videos on gut health, science-backed ways that you can improve your gut health, because I just noticed there's so much misinformation, especially on gut health, out there right now. And I can also give some advice on some supplements, some good vitamins to take. So just let me know if you guys would like to hear about that, and I'll see you guys in the next video.